I don't want to sit in a bar stool and bounce around and bounce my tits and be like, oh, I want to drink. Like, I'm not doing that at 11 o'clock in the morning. At 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm coming in and I want to sit down. Go off, Delta! I want to tell you about what happened to me at Applebee's the other day. I don't think you want to know what happened to me at Applebee's, but I think you need to know what happened to me. There's an Applebee's not far from where I live, and it probably went in about 13 years ago or so. And every year in those 13 years, I have gone at least one time throughout those 365 days, one time a year, just to give it a shot because it's wildly popular. They have a bar inside. They boast a menu of traditional fare, sandwiches, burgers, some dinners. Applebee's is known for their 2 for $25 deal that they always used to have, where it's like two salads and 2 meals and maybe 2 beverages for $25. I don't really know how that works because I've never gotten in on that deal, but I know it's a good deal. However, every time I go, I am so let down. And I don't want to think that it's that specific location because then I feel like I'm on the people who have a job there. So I feel bad for them. But then I also don't want to think it's fully the brand because then where is everyone else complaining about Applebee's? Like, I never hear people say, oh gosh, I went to Applebee's and it was so awful. And every time I go, it's awful. I know I have ridiculous standards, but I don't think I have the most ridiculous standards for the Applebee's. Maybe in the beginning I did, but now when I go, I'm like, okay, remember from your last experience what happened and dummy it down a little bit. Like this time go in with just the request for like their traditional hamburger or their traditional chicken tender salad. Like what can you not up at a place that offers really, really basic fare, right? This is not like, you're not going in there for like a tomahawk steak or something. You're going in there for chicken tenders, ranch dressing, French fries. I don't even know what else would be on this type of a menu. But the thing is, just walking in alone was this really strange sort of like dazed person just kind of looked at me. And listen, I hold space. I get it. People deal with people all the time. But when the host themselves just kind of looks at you and just goes, pickup order, I think, well, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. When I was that age, I might have been out drinking or I might have like stayed up late. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they go to school. Maybe this is their third job. You know, maybe they're a phone sex operator at night or something. I don't know. Anything is possible. Everything is probable at this point. But I said, hi, no, we'd like to dine in. And they said, is this bar okay? And I said, well, no, we'd like to have a low top table because, you know, I'm there with my mom. I don't want my mom jumping up in a bar stool, right? So the guy goes, okay. And then he takes me over to this like bizarre booth that seems like very squeezed. I think it's 2023 and I feel like people now need to they need to use their feelers. Like they need to use their eyes. They need to use their nose. They need to use their mouth. They need to use their ears. They need to use their words. And what you need to do as a host or a server is listen to those indicators, right? Hi, do you want pickup? No, we would like to dine in. Is the bar okay? No, we would like a low top table. So if I say I want a low top table, I don't want a bar stool table and I don't want a booth. I want a table that sits down where my feet touch the ground, right? I don't want to sit in a bar stool and bounce around and bounce my tits and be like, oh, I want to drink. Like I'm not doing that at 11 o'clock in the morning. At 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm coming in and I want to sit down. I have somebody who's obviously a senior citizen with me. Do you think they want to jump up and shake tits and go crazy? Like that's not what wants to happen, right? Like none of us want that. Anyway, we sit down. They're busy. They're overwhelmed. It's half an hour before lunch rush. There seems to be one server. The bartender is totally all hands on deck helping. But I don't understand why the iced tea. Yeah.
I just want to help you reset. Just get into it. Just be like, so the iced tea comes out. Davey does this. My mom does this. Just go right into it like that.
That's what I'm saying. The iced tea.
But I felt like, yeah, you're great. You're great.
I'm not the editor.
Huh?
I'm not the editor.
No, you're the
It's somebody else's job to edit this.
No, you're doing great.
So if I go off the rails, that's what makes your job hard, is to edit it and make it make sense. I'm telling you about my experience. And if you don't like hearing it, then you should listen to Race Chaser. If you don't like it, you should be listening to Sloppy Seconds. If you don't like it, you should be listening to the now defunct canceled Very That, or the canceled The Chop. Listen to one of those if you don't like it. Listen to a back episode. But if you're listening to this, you're going to get my whole experience. The iced tea came to the table and it had shards of ice in it, because that means whoever prepared the iced tea with not enough ice to accommodate the fact that it was coming out of a brewed machine. We talked about this a year ago, and I'm talking about it again. I have not done my job. If those people out there have not listened to this and realized they need to start putting ice in a glass enough to accommodate a hot beverage, right? It's there for you. I knew that the bartender was helping service drinks for this area, and I asked for a water, and guess what I got? Club soda. Club soda? How do you confuse? I guess the button. Shh. I know how to do that. I didn't want sparkling water and I didn't want club soda. I wanted flat, still water. I shouldn't even have to say still water. When did we start saying still water and sparkling? That seems so like bizarre to me, to be like, oh, still, or no, you have one option, a glass of tap water with ice. Here you go. Drink it up. And if you want sparkling water, well, I think that should be $2.99. That should be a cost. You shouldn't have that as an option. You don't need that. There used to be a time in this world where we were okay without oatmeal as an option. There was a time where that wasn't a thing. We used to be a proper country where people would iced tea was the beverage before a cola was a beverage. I think that was a time. I don't know. Somebody recently asked on one of my posts, what year are you even living in? I'm living in 2023. Okay. The promise of the flying car, we're not even getting that for 2 more years. We are so off schedule. And they're off schedule at Applebee's because there was only 2 people working. Lunch rush in the middle of the week on a Wednesday. The lunch counter is going to be busy. And I need to see a lot more people working in there. I don't know if I should fault that location, but I'm telling you, in 13 years, I've gone 1 time every year, and I've lowered my expectations every time I go. And even with dropping the expectations, now, 10%? The next year, 10%. I've almost dropped my expectation 130%. 130%. And it's still a pile of shit. Why? What is happening? I get it. People don't want to work anymore. But as a company, wouldn't they say we need to make they spent so much time curating each Applebee's to the city, the city that I live in. It's name of the college that's there, and they've got pictures of people from the city and all this stuff. Why? Why don't you spend more time regulating that the food needs to come out in a certain way? Also, by the way, I ordered the prime rib dipper sandwich, or whatever it's called, the Big Dipper. Oh my God. The Big Dip. I think it was called the Big Dipper sandwich. But anyway, it was a beef dipper sandwich, which, by the way, when Big Dipper has pool parties, those are called beef dips, or beef stews, and they're hairy situations. But I was there and I ordered that sandwich, and it came with an au jus, and I love an au jus is very Delta. But there is a very, very easy way to that up and ruin the whole situation, which is what they did at Applebee's. And you know what it was? They just put this much French onion soup in a bowl. And they said, there you go. There you go. That's it. The fries were not bad. And I will tell you, I will go back for onion rings. Their onion rings are right. But I also will tell you, it's not that I'm going to go back for their onion rings. It's that if I have to go there again, if I'm with a group of people and we're okay, we're in the middle of, I don't know, Petaluma, California, or some place where that's all there is to eat. I'll go there, but I'm probably gonna order 3 orders of onion rings and a Diet Coke. Because the Diet Coke is gonna come out of a fountain already cold, so they can't up the ice. I'm gonna give them that. And then the onion rings are good, but I think there's only 4. So like if as my meal, I'm gonna have like 4, like I'm gonna have that. I'll share some barbecue sauce with those. But here's the caveat of all of that. Wherever the Applebee's is, there's also going to be a Jack in the Box, and their onion rings are the exact same recipe as the ones at Applebee's. Exact same thing. So I don't know. Maybe I just try to convince everybody that we go eat at Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box, listen, they don't promise too much. They don't have special pictures up. Although I will say Jack in the Box let me down with their air freshener. They had a pineapple air freshener. Girl, bye. That is the rudest air freshener. I don't know about the Purple Haze one with the Snoop Dogg menu. That might be good. But that Pineapple Express, whatever they call it, oh, sick. It is not good. There's no smell. Like you don't open it up and it like just wears away. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. You couldn't even get like a carcinogen from that. There's nothing in the air freshener. It's gross. Applebee's doesn't offer any air fresheners, but Applebee's does offer empty promises. They got rid of the quesadilla burger, which is something I thought, maybe that'll be good. Like I'll do that. But I mean, the majority of their menu is like, I'm going to be honest with you, macaroni and cheese with tenders on it. If you have not dummied down the United States more than macaroni and cheese with tenders on it, come on. I mean, like level up just a little tiny bit. I feel like Applebee's is trying to be Chili's in a way. Like Chili's, I can never be mad at Chili's. Chili's gets me together. Chili's, if you order the soup and salad, the unlimited soup and salad, do you know that that comes with chips and salsa for the table, unlimited? That's like a free appetizer. Chili's gets you together. They're a little slow on their beverage order. Chili's, I'm just going to say, I love you to death. But, you know, I like to see a server for each table. I don't like an all hands on deck storyline. I get it, you're busy, but what happens there is too many people, too many chefs, too many cooks spoil the unlimited chips and salsa. Like that's, for me, that's what happens. You know, when you're at Chili's, they have those mugs or whatever. I want a beverage. Like I will go to Lucille's barbecue because specifically of the size of their drink. Like I want that iced tea it's a mason jar. It's huge. I love that. I feel like Applebee's is trying to be Chili's. Like Applebee's is just like never realized that they're not Chili's. I'm going to eat at Applebee's again because I'm a glutton for so many things, including punishment. Next time I go, I'm going to be 140% of my expectation will be dropped, and I still will be dissatisfied. I know it. By the way, I had to ask for sweet and low like 3 times. I ended up drinking that iced tea with the shards inside of it that looked like little pieces of rice floating in because the ice had diminished so much. I had to drink it with no sweet and low, no aspartame, no Splenda, nothing. I had nothing. My mother was with me, and she of course, she wasn't complaining. She was laughing. She's seen it all and done that. She knows I'm ridiculous, but I don't feel like I'm being that ridiculous because I still paid for the drinks, right? I didn't complain. I didn't call anything out. I didn't say I need to speak to a manager. I didn't do any of that. So any of you that are watching this that are like, oh, here she goes, just know I wasn't on anybody there. I didn't complain. I sure as still tipped 25% because I thought that was fair because I know that these people were working as hard as they possibly could. It's that management yet again. These managers are getting paid more than everybody, and I just don't think they're showing up to manager meetings or something. What is happening? How is this still happening? And you know why those people are going there and they don't have a problem? Because people are so burned out. They don't even have 140% less expectation. They have no expectation. People are so used to being on and so used to not getting what they want that they're like, well, take my money. I guess this is as good as it's going to get. I guess the side salad no longer has bacon on it. Oh, well, it's still the same. It's actually more than it was last year. Costs a little bit more, get a little bit less. Don't complain about it. That's how everybody looks at it. Again, I'm not advocating on anybody or not tipping them, or I'm advocating going publicly and letting people know, Applebee's, you are not Chili's. Get into it. Do you want to see me take a break? I think you want to see me take a break.